The recipe for social selling that I would see is being able to get the right people on the team to support a project. People, leadership, is at least 50% of the success of social selling in the organization. So it's about aligning the sales leaders to create accountability to the sales professionals, the marketers to be able to deliver content that is relevant to the buyer, and the sales enablement team that can put the glue together of the technology needed to be able to deploy a program. The French social sellers are actually quite advanced. In fact, we've encountered that in the European nations of England and France and Germany, you have a society that has been mobile for longer than in North America. You have a community-based environment. People are very much more person-to-person relationships. So the Europeans, once they discover ways of mechanizing the ability to communicate digitally the same way that they've been very comfortable in person, they have stronger relationships than we do in North America. We've just been more digital relationships at home. I have heard that in France there are cultural issues with selling, but I think it's cultural. Now remember, I am an outsider to this country, but I believe that it's a apprehension against the word selling, because selling has always had a bad reputation. We think of the car salesman, but the reality is the French have not been opposed to those that provide value, consult, teach, and great sales professionals are disguised as educators, as providers of information, and those sales professionals will always succeed. So the first step to the success of the sales professional is they must change their mindset, because the buyer has changed. Whether you like it or not, the buyer has already used online and digital information to arm themselves with information to make informed decisions. So the sales professional's job is to first recognize, I need to change. Once they recognize I need to change, they need to acquire the skills to better align with the buyer. Then finally, once they learn to align with the buyer, they want to speed up the process, and that's where tools become effective at mechanizing the process. In stimulating a sales professional, in looking at the way to get them interested in social selling, the best way to help them is to not tell them they need to change, but to show them the opportunity cost of what they don't already know. So for years in our business, we had run what we call hours of power for sales professionals. Sales professionals are in our classroom, not leadership, and we would show them ways that they could approach their own customers. We would ask them to give them names of their customers, and we would show them ways of starting new conversations with those customers in ways they had never seen before. The best way to get somebody to believe in what you're saying is you first need to overcome the barrier that they think that they're right. If you can chip away at that frame and have them recognize that there are alternative ways, then they're more receptive to listen. So we prove it through opportunity cost. The question being, can I help the French community develop sales transformation best practices? Absolutely. I have a goal. My goal is that sales transformation, we call it digital transformation, happens globally. And I would like to be at we call the tip of the spear, the very beginnings of helping every company that we can around the world. And my goal is that within years to come, people will not look at digital transformation as a difficult task, because it will just be part of the sales culture. And then the day that I've worked my way out of a job, I have succeeded. So yes, I want to see from the university level all the way to the sales professional that is close to retirement has seen a digital transformation. The question is, can the best practices from the United States and Canada be translatable here in Europe, specifically here in France? The answer is absolutely. You need to recognize that a digital transformation knows no cultural boundary at a methodology level. But the tactics that are deployed are different from country to country. In the United States, the society is more receptive to what we would call a harder sell, more blunt force selling. Where here in Europe, there needs to be much more trust developed in advance. So while the methodology of leveraging digital is important and can be applied, the tactic that is used here in France will be different. And so you just need to find what is the French way of approaching a buyer that you don't know. And it'll be different, but it'll be the same.